If you are a recruiter and you're stuck with your agency anywhere from $10 to $30,000 per month, I'm going to break down in this video exactly why that is, what the most common things we see with our clients, and exactly how you can overcome this. So you're going to want to stay till the very end, because I'm going to break down exactly how you can overcome this issue, scale way past the six-figure mark by implementing the right strategies. So let's get into this. So fundamentally, recruitment consists of two things, right? We've got business development and candidate sourcing, right? It's like the 360 model. We've got people who can be 180 on biz dev. We've got people who can be 180 on candidate sourcing. But if you're a solo recruiter, you have to wear both of these hats. You can't really delegate to someone else. You've got to cover both of them, right? So this system and this model, the 180s, can work as a functioning team. I've seen it work really, really, really well in some companies, but as a solo recruiter, it doesn't work like that, right? Fundamentally, what it comes down to, if you're a solo recruiter, I'm sure you can agree with this, you have a decision here, right? Are you busy? This is the question you've got to ask yourself. And if you are busy, then guess what? You're focused just on candidate sourcing. You're doing 360 on candidate sourcing. That's effectively your focus there. And if you're not busy with jobs, then you're just focusing your whole time on business development, right? I can see I spelled it wrong there. But effectively, it's not this model where you've got 180 biz dev, 180 candidate sourcing. You're just operating 100% in one or the other, right? You're either sourcing candidates if you've got a really big role on, you've got a big task on, and you're stopping business development, or you've got no jobs on at all and you're doing business development, right? Usually they come off the back of each other. So when you're very, very busy, you focus just on candidate sourcing, get that problem solved, and then you present with a new problem, which is, oh, I filled all my jobs, I don't have any jobs left, right? So it probably looks something like this, right? Your revenue looks something like this. You've got peaks and troughs. You've got some months that are really, really, really high, and that's when you've got your new clients and you're filling your new roles. And then as soon as those jobs close, guess what? Boom, your revenue's dropping again, okay? And it works in this cyclical fashion where you can never really month on month continue to grow and create that recurring revenue to actually grow a long-term sustaining business, right? This is more for the direct hire. For the temporary staffing, you can start to build recurring revenue with every client you bring on. But for most recruiters I speak to, they work in direct hire, direct placement, and this is how they're operating, right? And it just means your revenue is pretty capped because you can only take on so much work at one specific time. When those jobs actually close and you find the candidates, you're back to square one, right? You're back to absolute zero, which is very annoying. So ultimately, the solution here is not to stop focusing on clients. That might be what it sounds like I'm telling you to do. Like you just continue to do business development even when you're busy, right? You do want to do that, but you still want your focus to be on your clients. What you want to stop doing is neglecting the BD even when you think you're busy. Okay, so you might think, oh, I've got so many roles on my plate, like I don't need to think about business development. And this is commonly how it goes, right? When you've got too much work on your plate, you think it's going to be like this for a long time. I don't need to worry about doing business development. We're so busy, and it was, relatively easy to find this job, so I'm not going to be struggling to find the next one. But the truth is, that's only a belief, and it only lasts so long. There will be a time when those jobs dry up, you'll be back to square one, and you'll have to find new clients to go on this cycle again, right? What we want to do is be changing it. So even though there'll be cyclical periods, it will just be like this over time, okay? And the way that we do that is by having a system in place, okay? So the reason why you stop your business development is because the time input is just too much. You don't have the time to do it because you're physically spending your time doing candidate sourcing. Another reason is you don't have a team. You're a solo recruiter, okay? Like you don't have, first of all, probably the funds to hire someone. Secondly, the time to manage them, train them, and just build the team. Another one is cost, right? So you don't have, as I just said, the money or the funds to actually hire people to invest in all these systems. But most importantly as well, is actually around beliefs, right? Which is what I just touched upon. You think you're super, super, super busy with jobs, but in reality, it's only a month or two away from being back to square zero when that client doesn't effectively need any more jobs being filled, and you're back on your own trying to find more roles to fill. Luckily, these can all be overcome with a very robust system, but the key here is to have a system that runs by itself on autopilot without you having to do everything. Okay, and this is where the automation comes in really, really importantly, because it's all good in having a robust business development system, but if you have to spend 3 hours on it a day, you will not get it done, and it will not work because you'll start to source less candidates, you won't be fulfilling as much for your clients, and you'll be stuck as well, right? So you need to keep the candidate source going, but you want to have a system that's running on autopilot using automation, okay? And what you want to be doing is setting up cold emails, doing LinkedIn outreach, and publishing content. No need to complicate it at all. Your business can substantially grow by just doing these three things, okay? Of course, there's a learning curve of this. Of course, there's automations you need to figure out how to use and things like that. But fundamentally, if you're doing cold emails at decent volume, you're doing automated LinkedIn outreach, and you're automating your content using GPT and then scheduling tools, you're not going to need to spend more than 30 minutes doing this, right? And this is all around trying to avoid future pains. This is more of a mindset shift than just explaining exactly how it works step by step. But you have two options, right? When you're doing business development, you can either not do it now and not suffer pain right now because you're focusing on your candidates and you're going to fill those roles and you don't need to spend the extra time doing it. But the pain will come in the future when your jobs have been closed, when your candidates have been sourced, that they've accepted the position, and now you've got no more consistent stream of jobs, right? That's when you're in your position of pain. Or you can spend the time now going through the pain of doing 15 to 30 minutes of setting this up and managing it every single day to make sure you've got leads going in, to make sure the automation is converting decently, to write a bit of content and go through that pain every day of doing the extra bit of outreach or the extra bit of content generation that you need to do, but that will avoid future pain, right? Because this pain will start to compound. The more you delay doing business development now, it's only going to amount to more problems in the future, right? And it works the opposite way. The more pain we go through now, doing outreach now, doing business development now, doing content now, the less pain we'll experience in the future. So it's all about where we want to position our future self. And if we want to position our future self in a good scenario, then you need to tick off the fundamentals, right? You need to be effectively seeing yourself as a team where you've got business development to do for some part of the day and you've got candidate sourcing to do for some part of the day, right? It's not just one or the other, which is how we see lots and lots of solo recruiters operate. So as you start to build a team, then of course you can delegate some of these things. You can get business development people on, you can get sources on, things like that. But as you're still small and managing this yourself, you really need to go through the pain and continue to run these systems, right? Obviously, there is the third option where if you simply don't have the time, you're too busy with jobs, but you're also worried about avoiding future pain, then you can consult an expert, right, to run these campaigns for you. This is effectively what we do for our clients. We set up automated campaigns that don't require any of your input, so you can be running business development in the background to ensure that you're constantly building up your pipeline, constantly building up your job orders, never have to suffer months of absolute zero again, right? That's what we want to avoid. We want to turn this graph into something that instead of just flat lines over the course of 12 months, completely is on an upward trajectory, right? And we do that through constant business development, constant growth of not just yourself, your brand, your BD, everything, okay? So if you're looking for some help building out these automations, helping you actually scale your company over time, I've got a booking link in the description. Book a call with my team and we'll see if we can help you. But I hope this video has been useful and I'll see you on the next one.